Stephen Jones.
First off, congratulations to all of the Angelo State grads over these past couple of days, and looking like a great couple of days to do it with those cloudy skies keeping us in the mid-90s instead of the upper 90s like I was expecting to, but starting to get that sunshine out, especially as we were getting towards that sunset hour. Going into the overnight hours, going to hold on to some of those partly cloudy skies as we cool off towards that 70-degree mark right now. 83 here in San Angelo, 78 off towards the east in Eden, 77 that cool spot over in Brady where they got some more of that rain earlier today towards the I-10 corridor. 84 for both Ozona and Junction, 86 there in Sonora. So about 9 degrees of spread across the Concho Valley from east to west right now. And when we're looking at those dew points, still dealing with that dry line setup we were talking about yesterday too. 41-degree dew point off toward the west in Big Lake, 58 here in town, and then into the upper 60s there for Junction and Brady off towards the east with relative humidity indices anywhere from around that 70% mark down into the 20s as you work your way off towards the west. And this is that mechanism that could be firing off some of those storms going into tomorrow. Taking a look at our moisture tracker here over the next couple of days, gonna watch this dry line working back and forth. That's what the storms are really trying to fire off of, especially going into tomorrow afternoon. Could see it once again. Some of the models say yes, some of the models say no, so it's going to be hit or miss once again like we saw today. And then as we go into Monday, more of those browns working in, much more dry air going to be working into the Concho Valley, and really the blues going to be isolated to the coastal bend of Texas is what it's looking like, especially with some of those oranges even trying to come in towards the coastal bend. For tomorrow, severe weather outlook really targeting areas towards the Red River, but here in the Concho Valley, all of us under that level 1 out of 5 risk. And like I said, going to be pretty similar to today. High winds and hail going to be the main threats. Can't rule out that tornado risk either just in case, but the main threat's going to be that hail and high winds. By Monday, things are going to start sliding off towards the east, but still dealing with some of those morning clouds and morning storms off towards Brady and then up towards McCulloch County. Even for some of our eastern counties, could see some of those thunderstorms spreading into San Angelo, but by Monday afternoon, things should be clearing up pretty nicely. For the current satellite picture, you can see we had a tornado watch box along the Red River earlier. Now we're just dealing with a couple of those severe thunderstorm watch boxes, and then some nice convection going off over towards Eagle Pass where they're dealing with a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings and even a tiny severe thunderstorm watch down there. We had one issued through 10 p.m., but that got canceled earlier thanks to some of those storms moving off towards the east. And looking at our radar over the past few hours, you can see we had a little bit of a storm off towards San Saba County, but it since has dissipated as well. And when we go into the futurecast, take a look at tomorrow. This is going to be one of those more aggressive models is what it's looking like for tomorrow. Into tonight, dealing with some more of that cloud cover. Southerly winds going to bring in more moisture. Then the dry line going to fire off a little bit of those storms once again, 4, 5, 6 p.m. in pretty inclusive or pretty violent convection is what I'm looking for, pardon me there. And as we go through the overnight hours, still dealing with some of those updrafts working through. Plenty of hail could be with these storms, even up to baseball size if it gets going pretty violently. And then still into the overnight hours, midnight, 1 a.m., some of our southern counties could be in the crosshairs for a little bit more of that rain before Monday starts to move off towards the east and dry out plenty and see plenty more sunshine as we go into Monday afternoon. So for tonight, these overnight hours, partly cloudy skies towards 67 degrees or so, about the upper 60s. Winds out of the south 10 to 15 miles an hour. Tomorrow, 10 to 20 miles an hour out of the south-southwest. Once again, pushing up into those mid to upper 90s. On the lookout for some of those updrafts firing off into the afternoon that could bring those high winds and hail. But after that, Monday starts to clear out pretty nicely. Still the mid-90s, only about upper 80s or even 90 degrees there by Tuesday. And as we head into Memorial Day weekend, things start to heat back up into those mid and upper 90s, 97 there by Friday and Saturday. That's going to be all for your 7-day forecast, but stick around for more KSAN News right after this break.